And we got to go over to Chicago, where in Chicago this weekend in total, there was 8 people killed and 39 people injured. Wow. Let's get it.
We begin with breaking news of a mass shooting on Chicago's South Side. We just learned 12 people were hurt. Asal Razai is live at U Chicago Medical Center as officers investigate. And Asal, what do we know about the victims?
Well, Megan, we just got an update from Chicago police, and they say an additional man has been hurt, refused medical treatment, unknown injuries at this time, but that brings the total of victims to 13. We know at least 12 of those victims have gunshot wounds. Take a look at the scene, Megan. We saw over 100 evidence markers there. This is near Wentworth and 95th Street. Police say this shooting happened just after 11 o'clock last night. So far, they say a red SUV pulled up alongside a large crowd. 2 people inside of that SUV started shooting at the crowd before driving off. We're told multiple victims between the age of 17 and 47 years old were shot at that scene. We know 2 of those victims, a woman and a man, were first discovered by Chicago police. They had multiple gunshot wounds. The 10 other victims, Megan, self-transported to the hospital. We did hear from street pastor Donovan Price at the scene. He said seeing a shooting like this on a holiday like Juneteenth is really a tragedy.
In my neighborhood, where my church is, it's between 7 and 11 people possibly shot. It's tragic. At least one of them is in critical condition. It should be celebrating, and fireworks should not turn into gunshots.
Does a disservice to the community and what Juneteenth is supposed to stand for.
And Megan, we know a number of the victims were brought here to the University of Chicago Medical Center. Others were taken to different hospitals throughout the South Side, some of them self-transporting, as we mentioned. We know it'll be a long day of investigating for Chicago police as far as looking into surveillance in that area, because so far they have no one in custody in connection to this shooting. I'm live at you.
It's a tragic situation. You know someone was being targeted in that crowd. That's why they shot up everybody. And you know they're only monsters. Shoot and don't care who gets shot. Only monsters will do that, y'all. Let's get over into this next video and just go more into this chaos.
We've seen police going in and out of a number of businesses in this area, likely looking over surveillance video. Bullets from the shooting hitting this bus stop here on 95th Street. You can see shattered glass is still here on the ground. We counted over 100 evidence markers near the scene, where Chicago police say just after 11 o'clock last night, 12 people were shot. A 13th victim had unknown injuries.
It was a red SUV driving eastbound on 95th. Fire shot.
Police say a red SUV pulled alongside a large crowd standing on 95th Street between Princeton and Wentworth Avenue. 2 people inside the SUV fired into the crowd before driving off. Orion Meadows works as a violence prevention advocate.
As you can see, I'm dressed in my Juneteenth attire.
He says he was handing out flyers nearby when he heard the gunfire.
But it was just a lot of pop, 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 pop.
He says seeing a scene like this, especially on this holiday, is devastating.
That it does a disservice to the community and what Juneteenth is supposed to stand for.
We caught up with Mayor Brandon Johnson at a Juneteenth Day of Action event earlier today.
Last night was another reminder of how much work we still have to do to the lives who have been impacted by gun violence.
The shooting victims are between 17 and 47 years old. At last check, most of the victims are in good condition, except for the 17-year-old we're told is critical.
As a father, as a husband, as a brother, as a cousin, just as a resident, it is heartbreaking. It is difficult to even digest and consume. There are too many families who have experienced loss in this city.
Chicago police.
I feel like he should have, I haven't watched the whole interview, but hopefully he said that these people, whoever are caught, need to be punished within the most stringent confines of the law. But we most likely know that he didn't. But let's keep going into this, y'all.
Police are still investigating this shooting and say so far no one is in custody.
No one is in custody, y'all. But this ain't the only thing that happened. We had a lot of other things happen.
President Trump is also weighing in after a violent holiday weekend in Chicago. A mass shooting on the South Side Friday night was just one of several incidents. NBC5's J.C. Navarrete talked with violence prevention experts about what's being done now to try to get ahead of crime this summer.
A drive-by shooting on Chicago's South Side now gaining national attention. More than a dozen hurt by gunfire in a mass shooting around 11 p.m. Friday. Victims range in age from 17 to 47 years old, the largest in a slew of shootings this holiday weekend that would pique President Donald Trump's attention as he renews calls to move in the National Guard to curb gun violence in the Windy City. Lots of killing going on in Chicago. 22 people shot, at least 4 dead. Why isn't Governor Pritzker calling me for help? I could make Chicago a safe city in a month. In 1 year, it would be one of the safest. The mass shooting at Princeton Park not going unnoticed by Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson, writing, "I'm heartbroken by the violence in Princeton Park last night, which should have been a night of celebration and community reflection for Juneteenth, was shattered by a horrific act of violence. Violence has no place in our city, and those responsible will be held accountable."
It's tragic when you see people losing their lives on a regular basis every weekend in Chicago.
Teal Hardiman with the Violence Interrupters is at the forefront of de-escalation efforts. Hardiman telling me his group has helped prevent more than 30 shootings this year.
You have guys in the penitentiary right now serving life in prison because they wish they can turn back the hands of time. And I guarantee you a lot of those guys will say this to the young guys: I should not have done what I did.
By Sunday afternoon, the number of shot climbed to nearly 40, with at least 7 killed. For Hardiman, he believes the way to solve this is for parents, nonprofits, and the city to work together.
The only thing you got coming out of the streets, jails, death, and institutions. It's not worth it.
We reached out to Governor J.B. Pritzker's office for response on President Donald Trump's comments, but we did not hear back in time for this report.
You know we didn't, but it was not just Chicago. It was all around. Juneteenth, so much chaos, but I mean, we've seen this before with the 4th of July, a chaos happens, but we need to do more, at least the parents and the cities. You cannot just leave criminals, or you cannot be soft on crime, basically. I've said this several times, no soft on crime policies. That way people understand what happens when they do something wrong, and they are fearful of the consequences. People aren't scared of the justice system anymore. At least that's my opinion. But we don't need to look at an AI breakdown. But let me know your thoughts on this situation, y'all. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. It's a crazy world, but this is why we got to review this type of stuff together, y'all.